In this video, we're going to work example problems where we solve rational equations, except these are going to be a little more advanced than the ones we solved a few videos ago, earlier in this chapter. And the only reason they're going to be more advanced is that so it's going to be to solve any rational equation, it's the same process in that we're going to fully factor the denominators, since we can do that because the rational equations are ratios of polynomials, and then multiply by the least common denominator of all the fractions in the entire equation, multiply the entire equation by that to clear the fractions. And then what we're going to be left with is just a regular equation with no fractions. And the rational equations we solved originally, the result was always what we got after clearing the fractions was a linear equation. Well, more advanced rational equations are ones to where after you clear the fractions, you get something that's more complicated than a linear equation, but it's going to be a polynomial equation. So it could be quadratic, or it could be, any kind of polynomial, third degree, fourth degree, etc. So that's the idea. These are more advanced, but if you know how to solve any kind of polynomial equation, then it's very straightforward, because we're just going to clear the fractions and then be left with a polynomial equation. So, okay. Let's start by factoring this expression here. So minus 4 plus 2, okay, and then we'll just leave this as it is. So, okay, now let's multiply by the least common denominator to clear the fractions. So we're left with 3x times x minus 4, and then 5 times x plus 2, and then let's see, 2x squared minus 14x. Okay, and so, but now it's the same idea in that, so we multiply both sides by x minus 4 times x plus 2, so x can't be 4 or minus 2. So we're going to need to come back to the equation and check our answers to make sure that one of those isn't 4 or minus 2, because we can't divide by 0, and that would, you can't divide by 0 in the original equation. So, okay, you have 3x squared minus 12x minus 5x minus 10 is equal to 2x squared minus 14x. Okay, so subtracting 2x squared from both sides, you get x squared on the left, and then here minus 17x, and then minus 10. Okay, adding 14x to both sides, you get... Okay, now let's factor this. So minus 5. Okay, so x is equal to 5, and x is equal to minus 2, and that's it. That's going to be the general idea. You're going to multiply both sides of the equation by something to clear the fraction, and whatever you multiply by, whatever x values make that 0, that's going to be an indication of what you would be dividing by, with the x values that would mean you're dividing by 0 in the original equation. You're going to end up with some polynomial, maybe a big polynomial, a fifth degree polynomial. You'll get these 5 values. You just have to make sure that any of the values that would result in dividing by 0 in the original equation, you just don't include those in the solution set. Wait, so no, minus 2 is not a solution. That doesn't check out. So just 5. Okay, so let's multiply this entire equation by 2m plus 1 times n minus 3. So we get m times n minus 3 plus 2m plus 1 times m minus 3 is equal to 2 times 2m plus 1. Okay, so we've got m squared minus 3m plus, and then 2m squared minus 6m plus m minus 3, okay, is equal to 4m plus 2. All right, so m squared plus 2m squared is 3m squared. Minus 3m minus 6m is minus 9m plus m minus 8m. Okay. All right. Now let's subtract 4m from both sides. Minus 8m minus 4m is minus 12m. And let's subtract 2 from both sides. Minus 3 minus 2 is minus 5. Okay, let's see. 3 times minus, let's try and factor this. 3 times minus 5 is minus 15. So 5 times 3, no. Okay, so we need to just go ahead and use the quadratic formula. So m is equal to, so minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4 times a times c. We'll put the plus, take the minus out, all over 2 times a. So let's see. 12 plus or minus, we've got 144 plus 15 times 4 is 60. So 144 plus 60 is 204. So we have root 204 over 6. So 204, let's see. So that's 102. Okay, 204 is 102 times 2, which is 51 times 2 times 2. Okay, 51 divided by 3, that's divisible by 3. We're going to get, so 17. So 17 times 3 times 2 times 2. Okay, so we can take out a 2 here. Well, so 12 plus or minus 2 root 51. Okay, so m is equal to, we see we're going to have 6 plus or minus root 51 all over 3. And there we go. So, yeah, those check out. That's not minus 1/2 or 3. So those are the two solutions. Okay. Let's multiply this entire equation by y squared. So we've got 2y squared minus 3y is equal to 5. So 2y squared minus 3y minus 5 is equal to 0. So 2 times 5 is, times minus 5 is minus 10. So minus 5 times 2. So it looks like we can do 2y squared. Let's see. And then plus 2y minus 5y minus 5. Is that right? Yeah, that's going to work. So you've got factor out a 2y here. You have y plus 1. Factor out a minus 5 here. You've got y plus 1. Okay, so 2y minus 5, y plus 1. Okay, so we see y is equal to minus 1, and y is equal to 5 halves. And that's not, just y can't be 0. That's the only restriction. Okay, so let's see. We've got here m times m minus 3. Okay, and then m minus 3. All right, now let's multiply this entire equation by m times m minus 3. So we got 18 plus 2m times m minus 3 is equal to 6m. Okay, So 18 plus 2m squared minus 6m is equal to 6m. So subtracting 6m from both sides, you get minus 12m and then plus 18. Okay, now we can factor out a 2. Okay, now let's see. I believe that's a perfect square trinomial. That's m minus 3. Yeah. So m is equal to 3, but that doesn't check out. So there's no solution here. There's no m as far as real numbers. There's no m you can plug in and get a solution here.